So recently, well, I wouldn't really say recently, but back in October, we had an attack here on the farm that happened because of a sharp-shinned hawk. Something very similar happened today, and I'm gonna spoiler alert, the chicken actually ended up surviving. Let me tell you the whole story. It's actually one of the most interesting stories that's came off of my farm in 2025. Well, the first interesting story, but anyways, let's begin. I just found my cat in the barn for some reason, but anyways, back to the point. So this all started this morning. So this morning, I woke up a little bit earlier than usual, because for some reason I just simply couldn't sleep all night last night. Like, I went to bed at 10:40, a pretty typical time I go to bed on a weekend night, you know, around 10 to 11 p.m. Usually during the weekdays, I'd be sound asleep by that point. Like, I'd be asleep by 9 sometimes. But this all started when I woke up at 5:45 a.m. this morning for some reason. So, like, yeah, the first thing I did, scroll to my phone, respond to some emails, you know, all the normal stuff I do on a Sunday morning. Because usually I don't like working too much on Sunday. All I really do is I just chill out on Sunday, you know. Maybe record a couple videos if necessary, but I'm not doing some heavy lifting today. Because it is, after all, Sunday's the day you rest. But here's the thing. I go into the kitchen, right? I walk right into the kitchen at about 6:45 because this point everybody's up. So I immediately go into the kitchen. I go right to my oven. I turn it on. I turn the dial up to high. This isn't for actually baking. This is for making myself breakfast. I decided this morning I'm gonna make pancakes, but only for myself. I'm not making pancakes for anyone else. So I just turn it up to high, and then I boil the pan. Not boil the pan, that sounded stupid, but you know what I did with the pan, basically. I put it onto the burner was on high, and there we go. I make some pancakes, right? And after that, I'm about to go out and do the chickens, but I see something in the chicken yard. And keep in mind, the chickens have been out for like 25 minutes at this point. So I look out here, and I see a hawk. It didn't really look like, you know, a full-grown hawk that we're all used to seeing, you know. Back in 2021, 2022, red-tailed hawk attacks left and right. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. All right, I did not expect to add to the story while I'm in the middle of recording a video, because I already wrote the outline for this video, but you hear that clucking that I made in the beginning? Yeah, I just saw the hawk. It was, in fact, a sharp-shinned hawk. It's a little bit small, and I saw him chilling up there in the tree trying to look for unfinished business, if you get what I'm saying. But thankfully, he didn't get anyone. That's why my chickens are clucking. They're all hiding under there. They seem a little bit, you know, freaked out, but if they're still there in 30 minutes, I'll go out there and check on them again. But here's the thing. This is an issue. So basically, I see him out there, and I run out there, you know, where you got a chicken. No, he was just chilling out in the tree, plotting something. And you already know what he was plotting. He's plotting to take a chicken. But little does he know he has to go through me first if he wants to deal with that. Now, flash forward after breakfast. I enjoy breakfast. I do my morning routine. You know, all the normal stuff you do on a Sunday morning, right? So after all that, I get back home and I go back into finishing up what I was needing to finish before I left. So I then heard something coming from the chicken yard. It sounded like clucking. So I go out there and I see the hawk again, but he didn't get anyone. So I go back in. 20 minutes later, I'm in the kitchen getting ready to make myself some lunch. And I look out the window and I see something that every chicken owner's worst nightmare is about. I saw the hawk again, but this time it was going after a chicken. The chicken is actually under there. She's right there. She doesn't look too good right now, but thankfully she's not terribly injured. Like, she has no broken bones or anything. That chicken right there, I saw her. She was going down the hill with this hawk attached. Like, the hawk was dragging her down the hill. Something that could have easily broken every single bone in her body. But she was resilient and survived every single second of this. And don't worry, I'll get to what just happened 5 minutes ago in like a minute or two in this video. But basically, let me just explain the interesting climactic part of the story. So this hawk is chasing this chicken, right? I go out there and he flies away like, I was about to say a word that starts with a P, if you know what I'm saying, but I'm not gonna say that. He flew away just like that, and immediately I go out there and I see this chicken. I pick her up. I'm like, are you okay, man? So I kennel up my puppy because she's not trustworthy around any of my chickens. Lock the dogs up in my parents' room because I am not trying to have the dogs go after the chickens either. And I put her down in my living room because we had a nice fire going in there. It was nice and warm. So I put her down on the ground, and immediately the first thing that I do is I check for injuries. And thankfully, she was not uninjured, but the injuries weren't terrible. There she is right there. That's the chicken that got attacked. See? She's now walking normally. She did limp, and she almost got herself caught underneath the fireplace, but we stopped her in time. because it's quite simple to do that. But here's the interesting thing. I check her, no bones are broken. She does a little scratch right under her eye, but thankfully that's something that at the worst will cause an eye infection, and we have treatments for that. So I'm not too concerned about that. So then I'm like, you know, I'm gonna bring you back out to the flock. So I do just that. I bring her back out. I put her in the coop, and then she's just chilling out there in the coop and all that. So she's good. You know, she's gonna have injuries that might hurt. It might be like, it's comparable to like if you're out like playing like football or something on a football field and you like fall over multiple times at once. You know that feeling. I've done it before, and it hurts your body for like 3 days or something like that. It's kind of like that. That's what it's comparable to. A similar injury to that, where, you know, you hurt yourself pretty good, require some ice packs, maybe some medications, you know, might have to get yourself some Advil if necessary, but you're gonna be good to go in like 3 to 5 days. That's the type of injury she has. Not like T-Rexa, who basically broke her spinal cord as a comparable injury, something that is not treatable. So it's all good now, thankfully. This chicken is just fine. There she is over there again. If you guys are wondering, my rooster just proved that he is likely going to be part of the dinner table in the coming weeks, because he did absolutely nothing about this, which proves to us about the worth this rooster has, right now at least. Now cut to right now, about 4 p.m. I just begin recording the video, and I hear those chickens in the background, and I walk over here. I just turn off the camera. I'm like, what is she clucking about? Like, she's been clucking for an awful long period of time. Like, if your chicken just laid an egg, she's gonna be clucking for roughly a minute or two. I'm like, no chicken's laying an egg at 4 p.m. in a January evening. Right now it's like 19 degrees outside. There's no way she's gonna be laying an egg at this hour. So I think there's something wrong. So I go out here, and that same hawk flies right out of this tree. This is the tree he likes. And I get right up to about here, and that's when he flies off. So he's not afraid, thankfully. Oh, there's a fight going on. Oh, the rooster's being an idiot again. That proves yet again that you might be going on the dinner table if you don't fix up your ways. But anyways, there are some chickens under here. I am a little bit concerned about Summer, who usually runs away whenever I approach her, but right now she doesn't look too injured. Like, she's right there underneath the coop. I'll have to check back in like maybe 30-ish minutes, and if she's still out here, I'm gonna have to consult about that. Like, you know, maybe check up on her a little bit. But thankfully, no life-threatening injuries have been inflicted to my knowledge as of right now. But keep up to date. I'll be posting about this more on my community posts. Well, it has been a day since I last recorded, and I do sadly have some pretty bad news. Something killed my chicken. Not in the pet flock, but the farm flock. If you guys know some lore on this channel, then you guys know that there's a gray chicken that sits atop the roost bars at night. And basically what she does, she chills up there, well, not on the roost bars, in the roof rafter. Yep, you heard me right. She sits up there in the roof rafter, just waiting for someone to walk in the coop. And you know the rest of the story after that, most likely. It's a little bit annoying. It's happened before. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's happened on camera once, but I cut it out. And sadly, she passed away today due to some weird predator. I don't know what did it. I'm going to show you the scene. Now, thankfully, I have disposed of the chicken because, yeah, it was a little bit too graphic to show you. Like, sure, I could show you a carcass of a chicken without any blood, but there wasn't much left of this chicken, like, at all. Now, I would like to say, yesterday, I did leave out one crucial detail in the story that might have actually resulted in this attack happening. At about 6:55 in the morning, some form of a bobcat came up through here. Now, here's the thing. The bobcat can't really jump this time. So, well, there's one area it can jump, and it's down there. But I think the snowstorm that we got back in December really weakened it, so it might have been able to jump here. But this might have also been the hawk returning. Now, let me show you right into here, right at the crime scene. I'm going to formulate with you directly exactly how this happened. So whatever happened was whatever animal did this jumped to this gate right here. It's very hard to see because I just found this out like 5 minutes ago and cleaned up the scene for you. Right in here, you can't really see it like at all, but there's feathers in here. I'll show you this in broad daylight and maybe a YouTube short tomorrow. And then going through here, right in here, there's just the Nile River of feathers over here. Like, there's a ton. They slightly go into this bush a little bit, and then right in there was a carcass of a chicken. Well, 50% of a chicken, and that's even being generous. Maybe more like 40% of a chicken was in that bush, with a ton of blood and all that, you know, all the fun stuff. Now here's the usual suspects. We of course have the bobcat and the hawk, but there's a couple other suspects I want to add to our list of suspects right now. One of them going to be a raccoon, but the chicken had its head, so I can pretty much eliminate that. Another one, a possum. You guys don't think these guys kill chickens. In fact, I still have to convince people they do. They are killers. I can definitely put this on the list. Same thing with a fisher cat, but I feel like more would be dead in that situation. And they don't usually come out at, this attack seemed to happen at about 2:30 p.m., maybe 3. So around the time I was in the gym. Now, there is a ton of details that are missing, and I'll inform you guys in a community post. We saved one chicken, but sadly another one didn't make it in the process. But that's something you guys gotta learn if you're gonna live with chickens. There's gonna be tons just like this. Community posts. So if you're subscribed to the channel, or even if you just see me in community tab posts on your feed, and you know, like, you like a couple of them, you'll see a couple more of them in your feed, so you can keep up to date with everything that happens around here. Be sure to like and subscribe and click the video on the screen right now. I have exams this week, so once again, my upload schedule might be a little bit wacky for the next week and a half, but thankfully it's returning back to usual in not too long of a time period. I'll see you guys later, and good night.